One thing that I didn't really expect when I was buying a new plant for the first time is that you're actually supposed to repot that plant, and you're not supposed to just leave it in the nursery pot. That's what it's called, the pot your plant usually comes in from the nursery. So after a bit of procrastination, I finally found the time to actually go ahead and repot my plant. And I'm going to show you what I did, how I did that in this video. So I got this pothos about a month or two ago, and it's just been sitting in this nursery pot, and I thought I would go ahead and put it into one of the hanging basket pots that we got. The previous tenants here, they left some hooks in the ceiling for hanging plants, and so we thought we would take advantage of that. So we went ahead and got these. I might do another video later about how basket pots are a little bit different than like your typical terracotta pots or your plastic pots. But I'm gonna start off where we have the basket pot ready to go, ready to be transferred out from its nursery pot into the new pot. So in order to do this, there's really only a couple of things that you need. So one, you obviously need your pot. In this case, we're using our basket pots. Two, you're going to need some excess soil or whatever soil mixture that you're using. And three, you're going to need the plant that you're going to transplant. So I'm going to show you some clips here of me going ahead and doing those steps. So here in this clip, I'm in my backyard and I got my pot, my dirt or my soil, and my pothos. First thing we want to do is we're going to measure out how much soil we're going to need to add to the new pot. So you can see me doing this here. What I'm doing is I'm taking the nursery pot that the pothos came in, and I'm just kind of measuring out how deep the roots are going to go. Just a really rough eyeballing estimate. And really what I'm trying to do is I want to get the soil high enough so that the pothos is going to be visible coming out from the top of the pot. I don't want it to have it like sitting really deep down there so that you can only see it if you're looking directly above the pots to see the plants. That's also bad for the sunlight because it's going to make it difficult for it to get as much sunlight as it would like. Plus, it's also going to be a hanging plant, so you're kind of looking at it from a lower angle, so you can't really see it if it were that deep in the pot. So I'm kind of measuring this out ahead of time to add enough soil so that there's going to be enough to keep the plant at a height where you can see it. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and add that soil to the new pot, right about to where I kind of eyeballed measured the depth that I would need to achieve. So once I have pretty much the amount of soil that I need in the new pot, now we're going to move on to transplanting the plant. So to do that, first I'm going to have to take the plant out of the pot. So to do that is pretty straightforward. The soil typically will be pretty compacted, pretty all kept together, so it's not all going to pour out in a pile of dirt or something. It's not going to fall off of your plant roots for the most part. So really all you have to do is kind of tilt the nursery pot over and kind of tug on the plant leaves that are coming out of the nursery pot. And most of the times that will be enough force to start to get the soil to start to slide out of the nursery pot. And it should all come in one big bundle with maybe little bits and pieces of dirt coming off here and there. And if this is a little bit difficult, if it's kind of stuck in there, one thing you can do is you can kind of try to squeeze the sides of the pot, and that'll kind of loosen up the dirt a little bit to maybe make it a little bit easier for that dirt to come out. One thing that you might want to do while you're at this step is you can do a quick check of the roots. You just want to take a look at it and make sure that the roots are looking all white and or light brown color. You don't want to see any like black roots or anything like that, which could be a sign of root rot. You just want to do a quick check, a quick visual check, make sure that the plant's roots are looking all good. Sometimes you might also see there's a huge bundle of roots at the bottom in this huge clump, and that's a sign that your plant is probably growing a little bit too big for the plant pot that it was sitting in, which maybe is why you're looking into repotting it in the first place. So you can kind of see in this clip, I'm going ahead and doing an inspection of the roots. One thing that I saw that I wasn't really sure about is there was like a kind of cloth wrapped around the base of the plant. But at the time I didn't really know what this was. But thinking back, I think this was something that the nursery did for the plant when I bought it, or when they were growing this plant. I think they took some cutlings of pothos plants and replanted them in this pot, and they used this cloth to kind of keep it together to kind of make it look, or kind of make it grow upwards and not kind of just have the stems fall over and look kind of all dead. Kind of makes it look like the plant is a little bit more healthy, growing vertically. So I tried taking this apart and seeing what was inside, but I don't think that was necessary. I probably could have just left it there and it should be fine. I don't think it was blocking up any of the roots or anything like that. with just a little bit of background on what's going on there. Okay, so backtracking a little bit, now that we have our pothos out of the plot, out of its nursery pot, we're going to go ahead and move it into the basket pot, or the new pot it's going to be in. So I'm just going to go ahead and sit it right on top of that base soil layer that I added in beforehand. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some more soil in there to fill up the remaining empty space. So there's not really any technique to this. I just kind of dumped the soil in there. It's kind of hard not to get it on top of my pothos leaves, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to brush that off later on. So I just go ahead and dump all that soil in there and kind of spread it out with my fingers as needed to fill in the remaining space. So once that's all done, that's pretty much all there is to it. Your plant should be ready to go in its new pot. One thing that I did here is I went ahead and shook off some of the extra dirt that fell in between the basket liner and the basket pot. I guess if you kind of make a mess around your pot, maybe this is something you can do, but it's not really necessary, just kind of keeping things clean. But that's pretty much it. Really, besides that, all you gotta do is water it. I have another video about watering that. I'll add a link in the description if you're interested in learning how to do that. So I go ahead and water my plant and set it up in its new spot right next to the window in its hanging basket. But that's pretty much all there is to it. If you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer those. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.